One video, a few seconds, and now a woman who never expected to become a witness to history is breaking her silence. Tonight, we bring you an exclusive account from the woman who filmed the moment Pretti fired shots through a windshield, footage that has ignited national outrage, legal debate, and serious questions about the use of force. What she saw, what she felt, and why she is speaking out now could change how this case is understood. According to the witness, the recording was not planned, staged, or motivated by social media attention. It was, she says, a reaction driven by fear and shock as events escalated rapidly in front of her eyes. She describes a tense and volatile situation, one where seconds mattered and where the sound of gunfire instantly turned an ordinary moment into a traumatic memory. As a news analyst, it's important to stress that eyewitness testimony like this often provides critical insight that raw video alone cannot capture. The footage itself has already been viewed millions of times, but the woman emphasizes that what happened before and after the shots is just as important as what appears on screen. She challenges simplified narratives, warning that viral clips can strip away context while amplifying emotion. Her account raises key questions investigators must now confront. Was the threat imminent? Were alternatives considered? And did the response match the situation? This case also underscores a larger shift in modern accountability. In today's world, civilians with smartphones are no longer passive observers. They are often the first recorders of potential injustice. Yet with that power comes an enormous personal burden. The witness admits she has struggled with anxiety, public scrutiny, and the weight of knowing her video could influence lives, careers, and legal outcomes. From a broader political and social standpoint, this incident sits at the intersection of public safety, authority, and transparency. It reflects growing distrust in official narratives and a public that increasingly relies on independent evidence to demand answers. Whether this case becomes a turning point or another unresolved controversy will depend on how seriously all evidence, including civilian testimony, is examined. One phone, one witness, one video that could change everything. That is how this story begins, with a woman who never expected to be at the center of national attention, now stepping forward to speak out about what she saw the day Pretti allegedly fired shots through a windshield. Her account, previously hidden behind the blur of viral video frames, is now a powerful reminder that behind every shocking image is a human being processing fear, uncertainty, and responsibility in real time. From the very first moment, the witness emphasizes that she did not plan to record anything. "I didn't even think about what I was doing. I just wanted to capture what was happening," she said. In her eyes, pulling out her phone was an instinctive reaction to a sudden life-threatening situation unfolding in front of her. In just seconds, an ordinary day became extraordinary, a split-second event that would not only alter the course of her own life, but also spark a national conversation about public safety, accountability, and the role of civilian witnesses in modern crises. The woman recounts the chaos leading up to the shots. She describes tension building like a storm, where gestures, words, and movements, all seemingly minor at first, suddenly escalated into a dangerous confrontation. In those moments, she says, everything felt compressed, time slowed, but danger moved faster than she could comprehend. Her video captures a fragment of this sequence, but her words bring depth and clarity that the camera alone cannot provide. She is not just a recorder, she is a participant, an observer, and a voice demanding to be heard. What makes her account especially compelling is the emotional honesty she brings to her testimony. She recalls feeling a surge of fear that was paralyzing yet motivating, fear that made her hands shake as she recorded, fear that kept her eyes locked on every movement, and fear that would later compel her to come forward. This is the lived experience behind the viral frames that millions have already seen online. Unlike a static clip, her narrative communicates the human stakes, the adrenaline, the uncertainty, and the moral weight of witnessing violence firsthand. In the broader context of journalism and public discourse, her decision to speak out reflects a growing trend in which civilians become unexpected chroniclers of high-profile events. Smartphones are no longer passive devices. They are instruments of accountability, capturing evidence that might otherwise be lost or misrepresented. Yet the witness also notes the immense pressure that comes with this role. She has faced scrutiny, online judgment, and personal anxiety, understanding that her video could shape public opinion. influence legal proceedings, and potentially put her safety at risk. Her testimony underscores a critical point for both the public and investigators. Video alone is never the full story. Every frame can be misleading without context, and every action captured is filtered through the lens of perspective, fear, and human reaction. She stresses that investigators must consider not just what the camera captured, but what happened in the seconds leading up to and following the incident. The decisions made, the threats perceived, and the split-second judgments that define moments of crisis. In conclusion, the woman who filmed Pretti shooting through a windshield is more than a viral video. She is a living witness whose perspective adds clarity, urgency, and humanity to an event that could otherwise be reduced to pixels on a screen. Her courage in speaking out reminds us that behind every shocking news clip is a human story, a moral dilemma, and a voice demanding accountability. In an era where technology has made every citizen a potential witness, her account is a striking example of how one person's perspective can shape the conversation, influence justice, and remind the nation that every second matters when lives are on the line. A few seconds of video can spark outrage, but does it tell the whole story? This is the critical question raised by the account of the woman who filmed Pretti shooting through a windshield. While the video itself has gone viral, capturing attention across social media and news outlets, the witness emphasizes that the frames alone cannot explain what truly happened. What appears on the screen is only a fraction of the narrative, a snapshot devoid of the full context that could clarify intent, threat levels, and the human judgment behind every split-second action. The witness explains that in situations like these, the moments leading up to the event are just as important as the event itself. In her words, "You don't see the seconds before the shots. You don't hear the tension in the voices, the gestures, the fear in people's eyes. It all matters." Analysts agree that modern investigations increasingly rely on civilian footage, but they caution that such footage is inherently partial. Without the surrounding context, assumptions can dominate public perception, often amplifying emotion over fact. In this case, the video captured by the witness shows Pretti firing through the windshield, but it cannot fully convey the reasons why or the immediacy of the threat perceived at that moment. The witness recalls subtle but crucial details, movements that suggested escalating danger, a shift in posture that signaled intent, and the rapid unfolding of events that gave no one time to pause. These are elements that cannot be seen, but they are essential for investigators seeking to understand whether the response was justified or disproportionate. Her testimony highlights a broader issue in the age of viral media. The public's reliance on short clips can distort reality. Social media often thrives on shock and emotion, creating narratives that may not align with verified facts. People see a few seconds of chaos and immediately form opinions, the witness notes. But the truth isn't always visible in a frame. It's in the moments you don't see, the seconds before and after, the reactions, the decisions made under extreme stress. From a legal and political standpoint, this underscores the necessity of combining video evidence with eyewitness accounts, forensic analysis, and professional investigation. Experts stress that relying solely on viral footage risks oversimplification and premature conclusions, particularly in cases involving potential violence or criminal liability. The witness' insistence on context serves as a reminder that transparency and due diligence are essential for justice. Moreover, her account illustrates the psychological dimension of witnessing violence. Capturing an event on video is not merely documentation. It is a deeply human response to fear, shock, and moral responsibility. Her decision to step forward publicly adds credibility to the investigation and ensures that the narrative is not dominated solely by what went viral. In other words, context transforms raw footage from sensational content into actionable insight. In conclusion, the woman's perspective reminds us that video alone cannot tell the whole story. Context matters, perspective matters, and the human element, the decisions, fears, and judgments made in real time, is what gives meaning to what unfolds on screen. In an era dominated by instantaneous sharing and viral outrage, her testimony emphasizes that understanding the full picture is not optional. It is essential. As this case moves forward, the focus must remain on combining video evidence with thorough context, ensuring that both the public and legal authorities have the complete story before passing judgment. In today's world, a smartphone is more than a device. It's a witness, a recorder, and sometimes a judge. The third key point in this story revolves around the broader role of civilians as modern instruments of accountability. The woman who filmed Pretti shooting through a windshield did more than capture a shocking moment. She became a central figure in a national conversation about the power and responsibility of everyday citizens in documenting events of public concern. Her decision to record was instinctive, but its implications are profound. Analysts have noted that civilian footage now plays a critical role in shaping investigations, influencing public discourse, and holding authorities accountable. In cases where official reports may be delayed, incomplete, or contested, the presence of a neutral, real-time recording can provide an unprecedented layer of transparency. Her video, though brief, offered a direct view of the incident and became an invaluable piece of evidence, emphasizing the shifting landscape of modern news and justice. Yet, this power comes with significant personal and ethical responsibility. The witness describes the psychological burden she carried after filming the event. "I didn't realize how much weight a few seconds could carry," she said. "Every time I watched the video, I relived that moment, knowing millions of people would see it, judge it, and talk about it." Experts highlight that civilian witnesses today face unique challenges. They are thrust into the spotlight without preparation, often navigating intense scrutiny, potential threats, and moral dilemmas about whether and how to share footage. Her experience underscores a central tension in modern accountability: the intersection of immediacy, evidence, and ethics. Smartphones have made everyone a potential documentarian, but capturing an event is not the same as understanding it. The witness repeatedly emphasized that while her recording captured the moment of violence, the full story, the fear, context, and split-second decisions cannot be contained within a few frames. This distinction is critical for both the public and investigators. Raw footage alone must be interpreted alongside human testimony and professional analysis to approach the truth. The case also illustrates a broader political and social shift. The proliferation of smartphones has fundamentally changed the balance of power between institutions and the public. Citizens now have tools to hold authorities, bystanders, and even other civilians accountable, creating a new form of participatory oversight. But this shift also raises questions about privacy, the ethical use of recordings, and the potential for misinformation if videos are taken out of context or shared without verification. The woman's insistence on speaking out and explaining what the video does and does not show is an attempt to navigate this complex landscape responsibly. From a news analysis perspective, her story highlights a critical lesson. Modern journalism and law enforcement increasingly depend on the synergy between digital evidence and human testimony. Civilian recordings are no longer peripheral. They are central to understanding events in real time. Her courage in coming forward ensures that the public narrative is informed not only by what the camera captured, but also by the lived reality of a witness on the scene. In conclusion, the woman who filmed the incident exemplifies the dual power and responsibility of civilian witnesses in the digital age. Her video became a tool of accountability, but her voice provides context, humanity, and clarity, elements essential for justice. In an era where a few seconds of footage can dominate headlines, her experience reminds us that technology alone cannot explain truth. It is the people behind the lens who give it meaning. This is a defining reality of our time. Ordinary citizens are no longer just observers. They are participants in shaping the narrative, influencing investigations, and redefining accountability in a rapidly evolving world. Every viral video raises questions, but some demand answers. The fourth key point in this case focuses on the public and legal implications of the woman's testimony and video footage of Pretti shooting through a windshield. Beyond the shocking images and viral reach, this incident underscores a critical reality. In moments of high tension and violence, the court of public opinion often moves faster than official investigations, and the stakes for individuals, the community, and the legal system could not be higher. The woman who filmed the shooting emphasizes that her video is not intended to provoke outrage or sensationalism. Rather, it serves as an objective record of a chaotic event that needs careful scrutiny. Yet, as analysts and legal experts note, the viral nature of such footage can profoundly influence public perception, shaping narratives even before investigators have a chance to piece together the full story. Social media platforms amplify emotion, while sound bites and clips can oversimplify complex situations. Her decision to speak out adds a human layer to the evidence, ensuring that facts and context are not lost amid speculation. Legally, the footage and her testimony carry enormous weight. Civilian recordings are increasingly treated as crucial evidence in both criminal and civil proceedings, but their interpretation is never straightforward. The video shows the act itself, the shots fired, but cannot fully explain the circumstances leading to the shooting, including perceived threats, prior interactions, or split-second decision-making. The witness stresses that investigators must consider these dimensions to avoid misjudgments that could unfairly penalize or exonerate those involved. In other words, the legal system depends not just on what was captured, but on what the recording represents when placed within a complete context. From a societal perspective, this case highlights a growing demand for transparency and accountability. Citizens expect authorities to provide thorough explanations and demonstrate that investigations are impartial and evidence-based. When viral footage emerges, it can challenge official statements, expose gaps in reporting, and trigger public pressure for swift action. The woman's testimony exemplifies this dynamic. By speaking openly, she reinforces the principle that accountability requires not only visual proof, but also narrative clarity, ethical responsibility, and human insight. The incident also illustrates the complex balance between public interest and individual responsibility. The witness acknowledges that releasing the video and speaking to the media exposed her to scrutiny, criticism, and emotional stress. Yet she believes that transparency outweighs personal discomfort, reflecting a broader cultural shift. Ordinary citizens now actively participate in shaping both legal outcomes and public discourse. Smartphones, social media, and the public's right to know converge to create an environment where private witnesses can significantly impact justice and social awareness. In conclusion, the public and legal implications of this case are far-reaching. The woman who filmed the shooting has done more than capture a moment. She has catalyzed questions about accountability, transparency, and the role of civilians in documenting violence. Her actions remind us that viral footage, while compelling, is just one piece of a larger puzzle. True justice depends on context, thorough investigation, and careful consideration of both what is seen and what is unseen. In an era dominated by instant information, her testimony underscores the critical importance of measured analysis, responsible reporting, and the enduring human element behind every frame. The story is a reminder that in the digital age, citizens are both witnesses and participants, and their voices can shape not only the narrative, but the very pursuit of justice itself. This exclusive is not just about a video or a shooting, it is about accountability in the age of instant exposure. A woman pressed record in a moment of fear, not knowing the impact it would have. Now, by speaking out, she is reminding the nation that truth does not live in a single frame. It emerges only when every voice is heard and every fact is weighed. That is where justice begins.